Hey everybody, and welcome back to Women Carry Knives. On the table in front of me, we are going to be looking at the Monterey Bay Knives EWC, Everywhere Carry. And this is courtesy of Sanford from Monterey Bay Knives at Carmel Cutlery. So my husband and I actually took a trip down to Carmel last weekend. And we found Carmel Cutlery. We decided to walk into the store. And I'll have to tell you, that Sanford Owen, who is Monterey Bay Knives, is just a stand-up, great person. He was so fun to talk to, so excited to be able to talk about the knives. We looked at, just so many. So this is one that he happened to pull out, and we started playing with this, and mentioned that we do reviews and that we'd love the chance to review it. And next thing we know, he is sending us the knife. So Sanford, thank you so much. Thank you, Monterey Bay Knives, Carmel Cutlery. I think this is just awesome. So let's get into it. This is a Ray Laconico design. It is, and you can see that there. Ooh, actually, I don't know if you can. This is a great little knife. It is M390, satin finish, drop point blade. Some people call it a leaf style. This is a beautiful blade. It is a beautiful knife. It's light. It is a carbon fiber handle. It has stainless steel spacers. You can see those. Ooh. There we go. This knife is really light. It is only 2.1 ounces. Your total blade length, so this is not what I would consider a large knife. It is a medium-sized knife, but definitely one that I would absolutely carry because the size to me is really perfect. It has a 3-inch blade length. Your handle is 3 3/4 inches, and your overall length is only 6 3/4. Now, like I said before, it is only 2.1 ounces, so it is a very light knife. This is also a double detent slip joint. So they realized that some states do not allow locking knives. So what they did is they created the double detent. Now, the only downfall to that is if you are really getting in and you are cutting something and you're choking up on your blade, and I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like cutting my finger off, but if you're pressing down too far with the double detent, being that it is a slip joint, it could unlock on you and it could get you. But the flip on this is just, it's very, very smooth. And now it's an interesting design because you can see it's almost, I would call it almost like a front flipper design. It's not quite in the back. It's not quite in the front, but it's at the top. Now, with the jimping on it, you can see the jimping goes on the top. The jimping also goes around the back. This is just a really interesting style. It's fun. It flips just amazingly. This is a good knife. It's a good size. I'm usually not a fan of a very straight handle, but this knife, it just works. You have a little bit of, milling right down the middle, which does give you a little bit more of a grip. Your pocket clip, I believe, was titanium, but don't quote me on that because I am not sure. It is right-handed. It is a tip-up carry. It is not a deep pocket clip. It's not reversible. So that is something that if you are left-handed, that will be a little bit of a problem for you. But having a chance to get this in hand and feel it and see what it's like, it really does make a big difference. I know there's some knives, and I recently reviewed a Spyderco, the amalgam, and my first thoughts on that was, wow, this knife's really big. But all in all, it really wasn't. Once you got it in hand and you had the feel of it, it just felt really good. Now, I can do a little size comparison here. We have got, let's see, we've got our Rat 2. And, you're looking at basically the same size. You're just about, even a 1/4 of an inch smaller. So if you're a fan of that size, and I know some people say that's too small, but being a woman, I do have smaller hands. The Rat 1 is very big. So there's a comparison in size for that. So some of you that have the larger hands, you may not care for this knife. I personally think it's a really good size. Again, I do have smaller hands. I believe my husband really liked it though too, size-wise. It's a great knife. The flip is something you're going to have to get used to. Like I said, it's almost kind of a front flipper style because it is at the top. However, I really do like it. You do have one of your steel back spacers here that you could actually put a lanyard on. So you wouldn't want to put it on your front one because it would run into your blade. But this is a good knife. I think if you get this one in hand, you have a chance to flip it, play with it. Once you get used to it, I would say absolutely get one. I think it's a neat design. The straight handle, like I said, was a little bit weird to me at first. But all in all, it still feels really good in hand. It's a little bit shorter than what I'm used to. I would not, like I said before, I would not choke up on this one because my fear would be, you know, I'd be pushing down too far on this blade. And, you know, if you push too much, you're going to snap it open. I'm sorry, you're going to snap it closed. And that's it. There go your fingers. As far as an everyday carry, an easy light use, absolutely. I think this is great for that. It's fun. I didn't flip it that great that time. It is a sleek but simple design, which I do like that. Very simple. I mean, you know, like I said, you're talking rectangular handle. But when you feel it in your hand, I think it's really good. My opinion would be that if the handle was any heavier, you're probably more prone to choke up on it a little bit more. And again, if you do that, being a slip joint, it is going to take your fingers off, or at least a chunk out of them. I love this design. I love the fact that it is very, you know, it is very light. It is more of a light duty. I love the flipper on it. It's fun. It's out of the way. It's really just a great knife overall. Small, good for the pocket, good for the purse. And here comes the therapeutic edge.
Hey, everybody.
What are your thoughts? Love?
On the EWC?
Yes.
So, you know, we saw the prototype when we were visiting.
Yeah, we did.
Carmel Cutlery, and I liked it there quite a bit. Now, it is small for me.
That's what I was saying.
Right, but here's the thing. If you're going to make a small knife, and this is something that Ray Laconico has got down to a science, you make the handle in such a way that it still fits beautifully. Because it's not all shaped out.
That's what I mean. It's the rectangular, and that's what I was showing the comparison with the Rat 2 and the Rat 1 on size-wise.
Right. Well, did you already do this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is what she's talking about, right?
Maybe a 1/4 inch longer.
The handle,
the Rat is.
Yeah, they're so close. Except this knife doesn't fit me at all because of all this shaping through here. Whereas this beautiful knife fits wonderfully in my hand.
See, and I think that's a big difference, and I think they really hit it with that one because the Rat 2 for me fits perfectly, but I have smaller hands, so all your finger, your palm area here, you know, is going to fit me a lot better being a smaller knife. Whereas this one, when I first picked it up, I wasn't sure about it, but the rectangular shape of it really makes it better for all size of hands.
And I love that top flipper. I think that is so cool.
That's what I'm saying. It's not quite a front flipper. It's not a back flipper. It's right there on the top, and it's just snappy.
Yep.
And just fun.
Now, I'm not as much of a fan as the double detent non-locking mechanism as some people will be, just because I like my blades to lock in place very firmly. Now, don't get me wrong. There's no wiggle there.
That's what I'm saying, but you can't choke up on it.
Right. When I move my thumb up on that, my thumb weighs enough to want to close the blade. But that's okay.
Well, that was the other thing. It's a good thing this is carbon fiber, carbon fiber, and not titanium, and not, you know, heavier. Because to me, if it's heavier, you're going to tend to choke up on it more.
You want it right. You might confuse it with a heavier use knife.
Exactly. So being a lighter use knife and being a lighter knife itself at only just over 2 ounces, you're going to tend to stay back on it a little bit more.
Well, you know, Sanford and Ray figured out that there are places where you can't have locking knives.
That's what I said. Yep.
Right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to double you up, but that's just what we talked
double
about.
up. It's like the Doublemint twins. That shows my age.
Right. This is, without question, just a beautiful knife. We were lucky enough to see other things that they have created. No. Like the EZC.
EZC.
Which I had never had a chance to hold either.
Which is basically what this one was based off of.
Of course. Yeah. And I've just, I haven't gotten into these because of the size, but now, having had this one in hand, I will.
Absolutely. So there is something to be said about plain. A lot of people, I don't like it because it's plain, it's rectangular, there's no, there's no fanciness to it, it's just plain. But Ray Laconico has a way, and always has had a way, of making knives that are very useful, functional, just aesthetically
His art
pleasing.
is in the simplicity.
It really is.
Yeah.
But so functional, and that's what I love about it.
It trips me out that you can thumb flip that. I can't do that. I have to top flip it. No, my hands are too big.
Well, and someday, I'm going to find Ray Laconico, and I'm going to meet him.
Probably.
Because I love these.
Yep.
I love his design. I love what he does. I just think, and I could just sit here and do this all day.
Yeah, it's really a fun fidget toy, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, a top flipper, come on. That's so awesome. And you guys know I love my front flippers. I have a few of those. This one, just, wow.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I know, like, my husband may not. He's used to bigger, heavier knives. And he would be more prone to really dig in with this one, probably, and choke up a little bit. Yes, a therapeutic edge or no?
No, not really. I tend to keep in mind the design of the knife that I'm carrying, I don't tend to carry small knives. I carry big knives because I can. But let's say that you and I are going hiking, or we're going for a walk with Lola, and we're wearing shorts.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, well, that thing's just a...
Therapeutic edge.
Well, all right,
Fair enough, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, you guys, if you get a chance, you absolutely need to check this knife out. Monterey Bay Knives, Sanford. Oh, he's pulling something else out. Okay, now that is just ridiculous. That's
I like big knives.
No. That's a baton for me. That is so a baton. As I was saying, you guys, thank you, a therapeutic edge for jumping in there tonight.
You are welcome.
Oh, it's been a long week. Thank you guys so much for joining me. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I love having you guys here. I'd love to have you here full time. If you have any questions or comments, absolutely feel free to leave them down in the comments section. Love talking to you. If you get a chance, check out Monterey Bay Knives. Check out Carmel Cutlery. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.